Today is Friday, July 10th, 2015, and today's rant will be called Hillary Sticks Her Guns to the NRA. Now let's look at this. What Hillary has done is she has basically indicated that she wants to have some more comprehensive gun reform. I won't use comprehensive. We need more gun reform, gun reform in the United States based on all of the tragedies that have gone on. Let's just say mass murder by individuals with access to guns in the United States over the last 15 years. And her competition in all of this is going to be the NRA. Now let's look at this from a political standpoint. Just a few quick things on this is that number one, the NRA truly thinks that it can affect elections. When it has been shown time and time again that the amount of money that they have put into their elections, it did not affect the election outcomes at all. So the NRA, and especially in terms of election in 2016, where all across the United States, they will have very limited resources in which to put in to go against that. Also, another thing on that is if Hillary already concedes a number of southern states, which she's going to lose anyway, it really doesn't make any difference what her position is on guns in those southern states, because she's going to lose those states anyway. So I think, and of course her appeal is going to be towards more moderates and more independents who are living in the urban areas and who see that, hey, we don't need this many guns around here all over the place. So she's not appealing to the rural states in the South and some of the ones in the West, whom, again, she knows she's not going to win. So I think from a political standpoint, it doesn't hurt her in any way, shape, or form to go out after guns. But it does help her with women, it does help her with minorities, and it does help her in the urban areas. These are all areas that it needs to be. Now, there is some talk that if she takes a strong stance on this, it's going to hurt Democrats in, let's say, southern rural areas. But, you know, again, if you look at where the Republican Party is strongest, in the South, in rural areas, and in some of the western states, in the rural areas, these are already areas that Hillary is not going to win in anyway, regardless of her stance on guns. Now, the last thing I want to bring up about that is that I don't know if, even after she gets elected, if she gets elected, that there can be some type of meaningful gun reform. But we can get it started. Perhaps she can get some things. Of course, it's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. The NRA will fight it all the way to the Supreme Court, which again, it works well for Hillary if she gets elected, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg will retire. But again, if you replace Ruth Bader, the notorious RBG, excuse me, she's going to be replaced by another, let's just say, progressive. Then we still have to wait for Kennedy, and who's the two other older guys, Scalia and Souter, who may retire in the next couple of years. I believe Scalia's in his late 70s, Souter's in his late 70s, and Kennedy's in his late 70s. So if anyone else after RBG, because after that you have the two ladies, Kagan and Sotomayor, they're both under 55. What is Thomas is in his early 60s, Roberts is in his early 60s, and I think Alito is too. So they're going to be around for another 20, 30 years. So you need to replace Souter, Kennedy, and Scalia. And if they decide that they have to go at a certain point in time and Hillary's the president, then hopefully they'll get a moderate in there or a progressive in there, and that would, if there is some legislation enacted for further gun control, then the NRA will probably not win if it ever reaches the Supreme Court. So kudos to Hillary, number one, taking on, which was, you know, an albatross on the Democratic, the necks of all, an albatross on the necks of all Democrats, at least for the last 30 years, because you could never touch gun control before. She's touching it. She's going after it. I think she'll be successful. It's a strong political move, and again, especially with women, it should be helpful to her. Let's just hope that that all of the things I'm saying here are correct, and she moves on to be president, and we move on to have some very sensible gun legislation enacted in the United States in the next several years.